Welcome to The Wall, where we analyze the reasons behind modern women's singledom. We will explore several cases as to why many fail to find a husband, as some become desperate to get married. Before we begin, we want to thank you for being here. Your support means a lot to us. If you like what you see, we invite you to subscribe to the channel and give us a thumbs up. We would also love to hear your experiences in the comments. Your participation helps us grow and reach more people. Thank you for being part of our project. Let's get started.
Damn, don't nobody want me? Nobody. Me, I want you. I want you. So you telling me nobody really want me?
If you're single in your 30s, I see you. It's really freaking hard. I got a divorce when I was 31, and typically that's the time when everyone is like settling down, finding their partner, getting married, having kids, buying a house, all the things. I was doing the exact opposite. And I can't tell you how isolating it felt because I felt like no one really understood. All of my friends were in a relationship, settled down, were thinking about having children soon or already had children. And it's like everyone wants to give you the advice of like, oh, you'll find your person when the right time is. Do the work and love yourself and your person will appear. Or you know what, you have so much time. And like, yes, that's nice to say. I appreciated that. But still, I could feel the clock running out of time. And women, we can preserve our fertility a little bit, but still, we don't have the luxury of men to just kind of find a partner whenever and start a family whenever. And it's such a stressful, overwhelming, scary time for just not knowing if it will happen. And I had those fears for years. I finally met my person just before I turned 35. We got pregnant really fast without even trying when I was 35. And I had my first son at 36, now 37. And it's all worked out. But those from 31 to almost 35, I was just like, damn, I don't know if it's gonna happen for me. And it's really stressful. And I just wanna validate women in their 30s because it's a very unforgiving decade for us.
So you've been married twice. Surely you married a Chad because you believed he was the love of your life. This man left you at 31, already at the wall. Of course, your friends would turn their backs on you because no married woman wants a single woman in her 30s near her husband. Remember, a woman's worst enemy is another woman. This woman leaves Chad for the beta provider. Lucky she found him at 35. I must say she had time to have her children, but how many women do we see going down this same path? This move often backfires on them. She confirms what I'm saying. From 31 to 35, she was scared. It's because women know they have this biological clock, which men don't have. Men can start a family from their 20s to 50s or even later, and still, it happens. But women have a minimum age for that. That's why they feel the pressure of the wall, because they know the wall does not forgive. They have to play their cards right or they'll end up being the cat lady.
Finding a relationship after 30 is probably one of the best life hacks. Obviously on paper, yeah, it'd be nice to find your partner in your 20s and build that life together while you're building your careers and following your dreams and all that stuff. But that's just not the reality for some people. Many of my close friends did not find their partners until their 30s, some of them even their 40s, and they are living their best lives. Because let's be real, in your 20s, you are stupid and you make stupid decisions like I did when I married my ex-husband at 23 years old. But in your 30s, you are so much smarter, you put up with so much less bullshit, you know what you want, you've figured out where you want to go in life, and you're going to find a partner that's following that dream and that pathway with you. And I'm sure you are amazing, and if you're single and amazing, there's also going to be other single amazing people out there. Or maybe they're just one divorce away from being available. I'm joking, but not really. But my advice is don't compare yourself to other people and their timelines because you have your own journey and your own timeline, and life is not linear. My advice, from what I've seen with a lot of my friends in their 30s and 40s dating, is continue to live your best life, be your best self, and the right person is going to follow along and want to join you for the ride. If you're still single in your 30s, it means you haven't settled for the wrong person, and that's a win in my book.
Here I want you to notice two things. Firstly, women know very well that they always have the divorce card. They understand they always have this life insurance when everything ends. Usually, if they marry young, they divorce after 30, usually 5 to 6 years into the marriage, by which time the man has managed to amass some assets with her. Why stay married if you know you can start over with the sponsorship of your ex-husband's money? The other thing I want you to see is how she talks about her single friends, some in their 30s, others in their 40s, having fantastic lives. Do you really believe that? That's why I say happiness is contagious, but so is misery. This woman kept comparing her relationship to the single life of her friends. Surely that man provided her comfort, but comfort is boring for women. They probably talk about trips, freedom, outings, fun, and dating Chad, of course. She probably thought her life would be great if she did the same. But being single at 20 is very different from being single at 30. Let's see if you keep living your best life. You might hit the wall and then long for the marriage you once had. Many of these divorced women regret it years later. Remember, karma and the wall do not forgive.
It's really scary now because I know I'm 34, but then at the same time, I'm looking at the guys that are my age and older, even like a couple of years. I'm like, and please, the guys on there, I'm not saying this with any hate or anything. This comes from a place of love, but I'm like, God damn, like, sir, the Sydney sun has not been kind to you. Like, have you not been using sun cream? These men look like they're sultanas. They look fucking old. They look like my grandpa. I mean, I have nothing. I'm a hairdresser background. I have nothing against the silver fox look. I love a man that's got grey hair, right? We're not even talking about that. We are talking about these guys that have like receded, gone grey, but they look so much older than what they are. And at the same time, I feel like I'm 34, but I still feel like I'm like really young at heart and I don't look my age. So can you imagine how weird that would look if I'm walking next to grandpa over here, like down the street? People are going to think I'm their fucking like mail order bride. That's going to look all sorts of wrong. So I'm in this weird, warped stage of my life at the moment when it comes to dating. It's fucking weird.
34 years old. It doesn't seem fake. It's well known that age shows more in women than in men, especially when we don't use makeup. I know filters make women believe they are more beautiful than they really are. When you see them in person after seeing a photo with an app, you just think you fell for a trap. But beauty in women is non-negotiable. Beauty will always be their key to success. Don't you see why women spend insane amounts to stay beautiful? Many will say it's not for men, but clearly they do it to stay competitive in the dating market, to try to get a man's attention, because they know a beautiful girl has more benefits in a patriarchal system. They want a man who is attractive, but when their physique doesn't match that, they end up seeking high-value men. They get angry when they see men with successful careers, good economic lives, and who have kept in shape. Still, they see the man leaving for a younger girl who only brings her beauty to the table. Brothers, the wall does not forgive.
The fact that I married Storytime has had me in a chokehold, but I knew she was in her 30s as soon as I started listening, because women in their 30s are desperate. She said it herself. She was desperate to get married. She was desperate to have children, that she was blind to the bullshit. Before you come for me, I break it all down in a YouTube video. Link will be in the bio. But there are 3 reasons why women are desperate in their 30s. The first is that they have an anxious attachment style. The second is society's timeline and pressures of when women should get married or have a family, and also caring about those pressures and standards. The third is having low self-esteem and low self-worth, and Risa has all 3. So even though this man is a class A pathological liar, narcissist with a hint of mental health issues, allegedly, men can smell a vulnerable and desperate woman from a mile away. They know what you desire the most, so they know how to present it perfectly to hook you in. They know your insecurities, so they know what to say and do to trap you in their web of emotional manipulation. So if you have an anxious attachment style, if you care about societal pressures of when you should get married and have a family, and you have low self-esteem, you're more than likely desperate, and you're more than likely going to attract pathological liars, narcissists, and men with a hint of mental health issues, allegedly.
You know what's ironic? The healthier and better you are to a woman, the more she decides to leave you. But the more dreams you sell her, the more in love she is with you. Girls say they hate liars and bad boys, but they always go for the Chad, a man who brings nothing to the table but his seed. They ride the carousel, then want a good man when Chad leaves them. This happened to this woman. She chose comfort and money over her true tastes, then saw her marriage fail simply because she was at an age where she was afraid of being alone. She panicked because she knows she's at the wall, and the wall does not forgive. Next thing you know, her friend group gets smaller as they all marry and start families, while she remains the same. The fear grows bigger because we all know how competitive women are, how they like to compare themselves to each other, to feel better than the other. The worst part of all is the passage of time, getting older every day, less beautiful, knowing she has to secure her financial future, knowing she could end up dying alone or with a cat. Brothers, I always say the wall does not forgive.
The truth is, and it sucks, I hate it, but if you're in a place where you still want to have kids and you're late 30s, 35 to early 40s, and you want to have kids, and these guys are right around your same age, they know they have a lot of time. They know they have a lot of time. And so they'll tell me they usually don't want to date women around that age because they don't want to rush. So yeah, it does make it more complicated, but it's not impossible. But I would encourage you to go older, because the guys that are going to be older, who hopefully haven't had kids yet, are going to be more motivated to be on the same timeline you are. Whereas guys around your own age, they're not in a rush. They don't have to rush, but they'll date you. They'll date you and they'll waste those years you have that you should be spending on being more more thoughtful about and strategic about who you're dating. So it always does worry me, just because, for so many years and so many guys telling me this stuff behind the scenes, that I just wouldn't, if I was a woman, wanting kids and wanting to start, I would not waste time on guys right around my age. I just wouldn't, because I know how they are. And I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm saying it's a long shot. And if I didn't have a lot of time to fool around, I would not waste time on a long shot. That's my opinion.
You've hit the wall, now giving advice. Who would have thought? Women, as they enter their 30s, start to panic because they feel like they're running out of time. They know they might not have that dream family. They know they're getting older and need to secure their financial future. They know their beauty is faded, that every day their pool of candidates gets smaller, that the best men are often married. It's harder to find a high-value man or a beta provider. That's why they always say, don't waste my time, because for a 30-year-old woman who invested a month or two of her time in a man, if it doesn't lead anywhere, it's valuable time lost. That's why dating after 30 becomes a struggle. Women are in a race against the clock, seeking the best option in the shortest time possible. That's why they don't connect with anyone or set their standards so high. That's why they recommend going for older men without children to try to secure them. That's why you always see them wanting men who are 5 years or more older than them. That's why they tell young women not to date older men, so they can have more options. It's amusing to see how the discourse changes with age. Women who rejected hundreds of men in their 20s are now in their 30s or older, having to go out with hundreds to see if they can find one who will stay with them. The wall does not forgive.
Turn it off.
Welcome to The Wall. In today's video, we'll see a 35-year-old modern woman complaining about being single at her age. She feels that the advice to be strong and independent is what has led her to be single at present. Before we begin, we want to thank you for being here. Your support means a lot to us. If you like what you see, we invite you to subscribe to the channel and give it a thumbs up. We'd also love to hear your experiences in the comments. Your engagement helps us grow and reach more people. Thank you for being part of our project. Let's get started.
I'm a single woman in her 40s. Have I downloaded every dating app? Yes. Have I deleted every dating app? Yes. Have I downloaded every dating app again? Yes. Have I deleted every dating app again? Also yes. I'm a single woman in her 40s. Hang out with me tonight? No, I'm gonna need 5 to 7 business days notice. Actually, this is the end of December, so let's shoot for February 15th. I'm a single woman in her 40s. Go looking for love? No, I'm gonna need Mr. Right to teleport into my living room. Thanks. I'm a single woman in her 40s. Do I want you in my life? Maybe. Do I need you in my life? Absolutely not. I'm a single woman in her 40s. Stay over tonight? I'm gonna need you to actually call yourself a lift and lift yourself right on out of my house so I can get a good night's sleep. I'm a single woman in her 40s. I'm going to need to see this signed permission slip from your therapist before you approach me romantically. I'm a single woman in her 40s. If a man wants to, he will. No, actually, if a man won't, I'll find someone who will.
First of all, how much makeup is this woman wearing for her face to look like that? Women in their 40s have quite a harsh reality check. They struggle to find a man because many dislike dating apps, as they make it clear what their level is in the dating market. As the woman believes she deserves something better than what she can actually aspire to, she harshly collides with the wall because the wall doesn't forgive. You should have thought twice when you rejected that man who wanted you in your youth. Now you look older, and you have to accept it. I'm a 40-year-old woman, and men don't want me because of my age. Things start getting ugly for women around the age of 35. First, they're at an age where they've achieved a certain level of financial success. They don't want a man below their level, but those at their level don't want them because, if all a man cares about is beauty and children, you offer the same, just with more age and less certainty of having children, with or without money. I prefer to go for the younger one. There's no trick or trap here. It's a logical decision. Don't you agree, brothers?
A video that went viral recently about how women are prioritizing peace over low-grade, low-effort relationships with men. And the number one comment that I got from men was, well, fine, if you can live without us, we're just not going to protect you anymore. So first of all, who exactly are you protecting us from? Is it Sarah that we're afraid is going to break into our home and assault us? Or is it men? Is it men that you're protecting us from? Secondly, when women say that we'd rather have peace and safety, we're not talking about physical safety. We're talking about emotional safety. The reason there is an epidemic of lonely, depressed men is because women would rather be alone than in an emotionally unsafe relationship. I feel that we're in emotional danger when we can't be vulnerable and express how we feel. We're being constantly criticized or put down or ignored. For all the men run to the comments and say, well, we want to be valued too. Yes, you deserve that. But why are 72% of divorces initiated by women? And why statistically are women thriving in singledom and men are not? It is because women en masse are willing to put in the work, be self-reflective, and do what it takes to show up, and men simply are not.
I'll tell you why. First, women in this country, like almost everywhere else in the world, have far more benefits from divorce than men. 80% of divorces are initiated by women, and nearly 60% of cheating in relationships is done by women. Many women, when they divorce, receive half of the man's money, keep the children with child support, keep the house or half of it, and can access government pensions from the man. In some cases, they even receive alimony. Tell me, with all this support, how could a woman not succeed financially? The 50 richest women in the world, nearly 30 of them are millionaires because of divorce. Secondly, there's emotional neglect in a country where everyone is neglecting each other. The rate of infidelity in women is high. Some admit to cheating on their partners simply because they're bored. Furthermore, there's talk of an epidemic of single men, but you can't see much of something small from another angle when there are more women than men in the country. This tells us that if there are 2 million single men, there must be at least 3 million women. Another thing, the biggest consumers of antidepressants are women. The biggest visitors to therapy are women. So how do you explain happiness if you're not just relying on pills and doctors?
Hi, ladies. So I want to tell you my story, why I am 35 and single. Unfortunately, I didn't find out until recently. So I'm actually in my car. I have a meeting in the next 30 minutes. So I just thought, why not talk about it? Because I was going through my phone on my Instagram and I saw a post where a lady said, ladies, your guy is not your bank. And I laughed because that used to be my mentality. And that was why I was single. You see, when you feel like I am independent, strong, I don't need a man, that mentality is going to keep you single, because unconsciously you're going to be giving a masculine energy. You're going to be feeling like, I can do this, I can do that, I don't need a man. But men love to be appreciated. Men love to be needed. They love that feel that she needs me. They love that feel that she wants me. But if you have everything on your own, you make your money, you can pay all your bills, and you automatically start making the guy feel less appreciated. And any little thing, you're probably just going to spark, or you're just going to ignore him, or those kind of attitude. But it's not something that you are doing intentionally. So if a man does not have anything to offer you, that relationship is not going to last long. That relationship is either that man is clinging onto you and, taking from you, or is just playing around. Because a man put their money where they love, where they appreciate. And if a man is not giving you his time, is not giving you, it doesn't have to be money, but monetary thing that is investing. If a man is not investing in you, trust me, that man does not like you. He doesn't want you. A man only invests in what they want. That's how they think. That is how God made them. It is the natural. It's the natural way God created him. And in that situation, you now become feminine, because now you start acting right. You start being happy. You start smiling more. You become relaxed. Then you don't feel the need to take charge. But you see, if your man is not your provider, your protector, your lover, trust me, you're wasting your time in that relationship. And that's something that I learned very late, and I'm trying to relearn. In fact, right now I am working on my brain, but don't have that mentality.
Unfortunately, you've become the man you wanted to date. This is a cold shower for many women because they don't know how to change that mentality of, I can do everything by myself, so what do you offer me? Then this competitiveness with men opens up, which is why men pass on women who aren't connected to their feminine side. But on the other hand, it's the attitude of these women that ruins everything, because she's not the kind of woman who cooks for you. She's not sweet to you. She doesn't ask how your day was or show genuine interest in you because her mind is on solving her own issues. On her money, she only pays attention to you when you bring money, and if you don't have any, she's the first one out the door. And it's true what he says. I always say there are no stingy men. It's just that you're not the woman I want to invest my money in. When you see a woman with this attitude, this I can do everything alone mindset, it feels like you're dating another man because she talks to you demanding things like a man. Nobody wants that. That's why men believe they leave the country for women from more feminine cultures simply because they don't want another man at home.
Ladies, are you looking for a man? Are you looking for a husband? Husband material? I gotcha. Listen up. 3 things. Number 1, get rid of Match. Get rid of whatever, Snapchat, whatever you use for that dating site stuff. You don't need that crap. Get rid of it. Number 2, wherever you live, go find a fishing club and join it and go to the meetings, right? Number 3, and this is very important, you want to go buy a boat. Go buy a boat. Trust me. Trust me. Got your back.
This will end up with there being no place where men can simply sit and think without a desperate woman wandering around. Gyms have been invaded, sports clubs, golf, now even fishing, a place where peace and the adrenaline rush of catching something fill you with joy, is being targeted. Everywhere a man can connect with his masculinity, there's a woman trying to undermine that space for herself, to ruin that place of male enjoyment. It started with gyms, then they made gyms for women only, leaving only one for men. They went with demands to close the men-only gyms because they claim they don't need us, but they can't stay away from men. Now you'll see women at docks, on boats, wanting to go in bikinis, interrupting fishing, trying to find a man. They say women are moving away from men, but the wall doesn't forgive.
If you're a single woman by choice or circumstance, in your 50s or 60s, and you're still working because you can't afford to retire, I may have something that will help. Did you know that people over the age of 50 are the fastest growing group of new entrepreneurs in the world and have a higher success rate of being in business longer than young entrepreneurs? Many wait until they retire to take the plunge. But what if I told you you could start a freelance digital marketing business now to supplement your income, secure your financial future, and turn your dreams of retirement into a reality? My name is Christine. I'm 62 years old, and I started a freelance digital marketing business after seeing a video of a woman just like me who started the exact same business 6 months earlier and was now making thousands of dollars a month in extra income working from home in her spare time. Follow me to learn more and comment retirement if you're ready to get started.
Another one sells courses that only make women lose the little wealth they manage to take from their husbands in divorce because women are the most vulnerable group in these pyramid schemes. They all have this big desire to become millionaires, so when offered a business to make easy money, they flock to it en masse. They think most women live off the government because they believe that women without children are constantly regretting it, or those who didn't marry won't have any financial support. That's why many women are constantly looking for a provider beta to secure their long-term financial life. The problem is that men are making it difficult for them as they see how many take advantage of divorces, so they prefer not to marry. It's the same as children becoming a business for many. They seek out a man who's well off, have 1 or 2 children with him, and then live off the child support because the more the man earns, the more money they take from him. That's why you see women of all ages still looking for a high-value man, why they go to the most expensive restaurants, the places where they might find wealthy men, like Miami, to see if they can catch one. The Wall, brothers, doesn't forgive.
You ever like start talking to someone and you're like, how are they single? How are you single? And then like a week later, you're like, oh. Oh.
Welcome to The Wall. In today's video, we'll be exploring the case of a woman who decides to leave her marriage after a Chad commented on one of her TikTok posts. We'll see how this woman ends her marriage to marry the Chad and bring him to the United States. We'll also observe how women over 40 have completely lost all shame in openly pursuing Chads. Before we begin, we want to thank you for being here. Your support means a lot to us. If you like what you see, we invite you to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. We'd also love to hear about your experiences in the comments. Your engagement helps us grow and reach more people. Thank you for being part of our project. Let's get started.
Hey, a little story time in the dating diaries world. So I went out with some friends last night. We're all single, and we were at this really cute restaurant, and this amazingly beautiful man walks in and sits at the bar by himself. So we're talking about him the whole time, like, oh my gosh, he's so cute. And what's he doing all by himself? So we watched him, and then he ate his dinner alone, and then he left. And then this morning, this is in Uptown, Minneapolis. And this morning, I was in the North Loop in Minneapolis, working at a coffee shop, and he walks in. So I'm like, what are the odds? So I went up and said, were you at this restaurant last night? And we started talking, and he asked me on a date. And I'm dying, like, what are the odds? Kinda cool.
Afterwards, he hears saying that men are the hunters, and women will always pave the way for a man they feel a genuine high interest in. Many of these women constantly send messages to men they like on social media. What happens is that women are more subtle than men. By the time you realize it, that woman has made and undone. Look at how she saw this guy in a bar. She was dying to approach him. She's probably a divorced woman. She has needs to fulfill, especially on the wall where men don't pay attention to her. She decided that upon seeing him at her cafe, she would take the initiative. Don't be surprised by this because nowadays more and more women are taking the initiative, going after men. The Wall doesn't forgive. She has to make the moves nowadays, but for which type of men? For the Chads, men who bring nothing to the table except their seed. Of course, she takes a risk for this man to see if he'll put her on an emotional roller coaster. If you don't believe me, watch the next video to see that a woman's genuine interest is non-negotiable, as they'll do whatever it takes to go after a man.
Imagine destroying your marriage for someone that you simply decided to meet off of social media. Watch this and let me know what you think.
Hi, TikTok. Today, I'm having a few drinks. I'm not really a drinker, but I'm also not a monster. I'm celebrating today because my ex-husband and I filed our divorce papers. And you want to know what? We're celebrating together. So a lot of you have asked how I met my husband, the Beardsmith. This is the comment that I left on his video the day that I met him, April 11th, 2021. And he answered me, and that was it. The rest is history. I screenshotted it for USCIS. So now U.S. immigration can see the very day that I met my husband.
And here's his video that apparently started it all.
Remember, friends, that a woman will always be loyal to her emotions. This man did nothing more than write a comment for this woman to leave a marriage of over 10 years. That's why I always say real interest is non-negotiable. This woman didn't find out if he was a dangerous criminal, didn't investigate if he had money, didn't care about anything, because all she was interested in was for this man to pump her hard, because he's a Chad. A man who brings nothing to the table except his seed. Then she hears her excuses that all men are abusers when she left the father of her children over a comment. Many women watch this video but don't hear them saying how she abandoned the father of her children after more than 10 years of marriage. No, that never happens because the woman deserves to be happy. If she's not happy with that man, she has every right to break her vows. Besides, did you hear how she talked about migration? Surely she got him papers to come over. He's not stupid. Let's see this old lady bringing him to the US. Of course, he'll be calm about his residency or citizenship. That's why I always say on the wedding day, only one person gets married for love, and that's the man. Watch the second part.
So someone left a comment on one of her videos asking, you left your husband for someone you met on TikTok. And here's her response.
Well, I knew this little question was going to come up. Yes, I was married when I met my current husband on TikTok. I'll explain. My relationship with my ex-husband was more of a friendship than anything. We both met when we were in really lonely places in our late 30s. We both wanted a family. We had a lot in common, and we had met in elementary school, so we felt really safe with each other. But we ignored the fact that there wasn't really a spark. So when I met my current husband, there was this immediate connection, attraction. I felt very I don't know how to describe it. When it's the person, you just kind of know. So within 3 days of meeting my current partner, I had to admit to myself and my ex that we were just friends, and I tore the Band-Aid, and now we're all great friends. Good morning, TikTok. I need to address this. A lot of you people are assuming by my last video that I cheated on my ex-husband. He will tell you, and I will tell you, I did not. I met my current husband. So he was nothing to me at the time. Illusions! What had happened is my response to him made me realize my feelings had changed. Whether or not it was him, someone else, my heart was ready to move on. I was in more of a friendship-based marriage than anything else, and our marriage was getting in the way of our friendship. We were not intimate. We slept in separate rooms for 4 years, but we were trying to go through the motions and honor the marriage for our daughter. And I was the one that sat him down and said, it was time for us both to move on.
See why I tell you that women who reach the wall only seek long-term financial security? This woman was 30 years old and at the wall. She didn't love the beta provider, but she wanted children. She said, why not stick with this one? She'll always spin the story in her favor. Surely she never liked that man. That's why the first thing she did was cut off intimacy once she got married and had her children. She didn't want him anymore. He had served his purpose, and once he fulfilled his function, she discarded him. Surely this man was well-positioned, so why go for a man who only had to comment on one of her TikTok posts for her to leave her husband? That's it. That's why the only one who gets married for love is the man. Don't be any woman's lifeline. Now she says, and I accept it. One thing is a mutual breakup agreement. Another is you seeking a new husband, then establishing a divorce. Why impose a decision on me? Who believes this woman's story that she wasn't unfaithful when she was drooling over him just from seeing him on TikTok? Clearly, from the moment she saw him in person, she handed herself over to him. After tasting the Chad, she went to ask for a divorce. Remember, when they're left, they're the victims, but when they leave you, it's because they deserve to be happy. Let's wait. Surely Chad will do his thing eventually. Karma will catch up to her.
One thing I love about being single in my 40s is I just legitimately don't give a fuck. So like when I encounter like a little weak ass man and I just know that I just don't have the energy for that, I just like step away, casually walk away. And when he's like, oh boo, where'd you go? I was like, yo, I just walked away. You weren't giving me what I needed, so I just moved on to the next one. You can have fun as you go while you're waiting for the real man at the end who's going to level up, who's going to be able to match your fucking energy, who's not going to give a fuck about your strength or your power, who's going to be mesmerized by it. And so dating in your 40s is a flex. If you can channel that energy where you're just like, listen, you show me what you want. I'm going to match your energy. I'm going to match your fucking actions. And yeah, if you're upset that I didn't give you enough attention, well, guess what, bro? That means you weren't giving me enough attention either. It's a whole vibe.
No matter the age, a woman will always have suitors. Now, what kind of suitors are the ones these women actually get? Because all I hear them say is weak men, or you didn't give me what I needed. I only think of two things. When a woman calls a man weak, it's because she told him about her past or body count, and the man doesn't want a relationship after that. And when they talk about what I needed, it's because they've gotten off the carousel and now want a beta provider. After having fun, they now want a serious man who can provide long-term financial security. All I hear is when she says, move on to the next one. You can have fun while waiting for the right man. In other words, they go have fun with the chads while waiting for the right beta provider, who's desperate enough to want her despite her whole body count. Brothers, send these women to the wall, or just have fun with them, because these Western women aren't loyal. Don't even think about committing to avoid having a dead bedroom, my friend.
Hey y'all, hey, it's Lisa from the kitchen. Listen, real quick, I'm doing some meal prep because I have to go back to work tomorrow for the next 3 days, nights anyway, but it doesn't matter. Anyway, listen, I went to town today to get some vegetables, and I had to go to the $1.25 store, and when I walked into the $1.25 store, there was no cars in the parking lot. Now, mind you, this store is in a shopping center with some other stores, and when I walked out, y'all, there was big trucks all over the parking lot, four-wheel drive trucks with four-wheelers in the back and towing trailers full of wood and things. And I thought, where there are pickup trucks that are four-wheel drive, there are also, man, I found some for y'all women of TikTok. Listen, Tractor Supply between the hours of 11:45 and 12:45. I mean, of course I had to go up in there and check out what the offering was, and I did. And I could have put my chair up at the front door and been the unofficial greeter for the Tractor Supply for the lunch hour. I didn't know, y'all. Anyway, there were so many flavors of men in there. I mean, all different shapes and sizes, and tattoos and no tattoos, and chest hair and no chest hair, and ball caps and cowboy hats and belt buckles and jeans. Oh, mercy. That is why I'm a George Strait fan, y'all. Wrangler butts drive me nuts. Anyway, I may or may not have spent the better part of 30 minutes asking tall men to get things off the top shelf for me. Don't judge me. It was fantastic, and it was well worth it. I did not get any phone numbers of any men today. That was not what I was going in there for. I was going on a reconnaissance mission for the women of TikTok. Just go by there at lunch hour sometime and just check it out. I mean, I might need to go back after like 4 or 5 o'clock when everybody gets off work, but I just don't know if they would be there or not, but I'm going to find out for y'all. I may or may not have spent $88 and some change on a bunch of crap I probably don't need, but birthdays and Christmas are coming up, so that's what my family will be getting for the gifts. Anyway, I just keep watching out for y'all. Look, I got my eyes out for the men, for where all the men are at for you women of the TikTok. Anyway, I got to finish my meal prep because I don't eat fast food because it's bad for my belly. Anyway, I love y'all, mean it.
She was on a reconnaissance mission for all women. Nowadays, the older the woman gets, the more shameless she becomes. This lady should be taking care of grandchildren, but she's out there looking for men. Ladies, if you're in your 60s, you'd better get a cat. It's unbelievable how desperate they are for a chad to pump them. They're like hungry wolves, immediately seeking out places with more than 5 men, advertising it on TikTok so that more desperate women go searching for a man. Being a single, commitment-free man nowadays is fun with so many desperate women. Brothers, don't trust any woman, not even the one in your own house. Always be alert because overnight she could change. That's why I say the best investment a man can make is always in himself. Exercise, good nutrition, emergency fund, a solid wardrobe. Never let yourself go because a woman's hypergamy doesn't play around. The moment she finds someone she likes more than you, she'll change. Women like this, send them to the wall because the wall doesn't forgive. Welcome to The Wall. In today's video, we'll explore how women's discourse changes after the age of 30. We'll also delve into a study suggesting that women desire fewer children than men, and we'll debunk this with footage of women in their 40s striving for romantic relationships. Before we dive in, we want to express our gratitude for your presence here. Your support means a lot to us. If you enjoy what you see, we invite you to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. We'd also love to hear about your experiences in the comments. Your engagement helps us grow and reach more people. Thank you for being part of our project. Let's get started.
Another day and another study that scares the living shit out of me. Here we go. Pew Research Center. Young men without children are more likely than young women to say they want to be parents someday. Now, this is a study of 18 to 34-year-olds in the U.S. who have at least one living parent. 57% of men say that they want to have children, while only 45% of women want kids. 21% of women are sure they don't want to have kids, while 15% of men are sure they don't want to have kids. And obviously men need women to have children, and I don't need to remind you who are in more positions of power, but I found this study so funny. Mothers and fathers have different views of who does more when it comes to many childcare tasks. You can pause this if you want to, but here's a summary. Mothers tend to say they do more than their spouse or partner, while fathers tend to say they share responsibilities about equally. Moms also worry more than dads about a host of issues when it comes to parenting. So mothers think they do more of the work, and they're also more stressed about it. And one more time, when we talk about who wants children and who doesn't, are you guys really surprised?
And what's wrong with this study? It's well known that every man wants to sow his seed and raise his own offspring. I don't see anything unusual about that. Many women may claim they don't want children simply because they come from broken homes or single-mother households. Even coming from these backgrounds, a man still wants to be a father at some point in his life. The difference is that a man from his 20s to 50s can still have children, whereas a woman has a tougher time because her biological clock tells her to have children young. Now, the country's birth rate is plummeting, largely because many women don't want to have children. But it's also due to the increasing number of single women, which has been a trend over the last decade due to less intimacy. It's no wonder they say that 45% of women will be single by 2030. Considering the standards that, on average, a woman wants from a man, it's highly possible that this figure will be even higher than 45%.
It's crazy that as a girl, you're raised to believe that at 30, your life is like gonna end in some metaphorical way, but I'm 31, almost 32, and I feel like this is the best I've ever felt, looked, and just been in my entire life. So don't believe it. I can't wait to be 40.
I don't know if this is a serious comment or if it is just a troll trying to get attention, but this is crazy to me. And it's crazy to me the comments that I got on my video about being 38 and not wanting kids. It's so interesting to me how that is so hard for some people to comprehend. I know that I don't want kids, like I know that the sky is blue. I am more sure of it every year of my life. People always say like, oh, but you might change your mind. Every year that passes, the more sure I am that I am making the right decision for myself. And I don't understand why some people care so much, whether somebody else procreates or not, especially somebody that they don't know. And the people who say that if you don't have kids, you're missing out on the meaning of life and life's purpose. In this day and age, I believe that you can find purpose through so many different areas. I find purpose through my work that I do in recovery. I find purpose in my career. I find purpose in my relationship with my family. I find purpose in my relationships with my friends. I find purpose in things that I do in my community. I find purpose when I go and travel the world and experience different cultures. I find purpose in my spiritual life. I mean, there's so many ways to be fulfilled without having kids. There is 0% part of me that feels like I want to be responsible for another human life for the rest of my life. I mean, truly, I just don't have that maternal thing. I always say I have it for my dog. It's fulfilled by my dog. I love my dog so much. And I know that dogs aren't people, but the fact that other people care so much and need everybody to hold their same views is just wild to me. If you ever come across a woman who says she doesn't want kids, and she's sure about it, that's the end of the discussion. Period.
They notice that she found meaning in everything except in her relationship with her partner, because she doesn't have one. This is where the trick lies. How can you say you don't want something when you haven't even come close to having it? Many women start saying this after they turn 35 because, you may wonder, they're simply single. Of course, it's easier to say this when you're lonelier than the sun at noon on a cloudless day. They know that finding a man at that age would mean 1 or 2 years until the relationship is solidified, then moving in together, having a child, which would mean they'd be 40 to 42. They know that biological clock has long left the station. That's why you see women thinking their life ends at 30. Your life doesn't end, your youth does, and your value in the dating market decreases because you've hit the wall, and the wall doesn't forgive. That's why I say, pay attention to how the discourse changes with age depending on their situation. If those women at 33 or 38 had partners starting in their 30s, I bet they'd want children. But by the time they hit 40 and are still single, they have to change their discourse because they think they have pets to take care of as if they were people. The wall doesn't forgive.
Reddit Q&A time. Couples over 40 and childless. How has life turned out for you? Do you regret not having children? Number one comment is no regrets here. We are enjoying the flexibility and free time. The only issue we have is finding more people to hang out with as everyone seems to be too tired or busy because they have children. Can confirm. Another one. My wife and I decided not to have children. We go out to dinner a lot. If we had kids, I think we'd be divorced. We have overcome a lot and it took 100% of ourselves at times to accomplish. If we had also been parents at the time, I don't think we would have made it. Relationships are hard enough. And this person met her partner in high school and they've been together for 22 years and basically they live a full life, they eat out heaps, they go to concerts, live theater, holidays, and have so much freedom, it's insane. We nurture our hobbies, sleep in a lot. All of our friends have kids and complain constantly about how hard it is, how exhausted they are, and how much money it's costing them. No regrets on our side. Sorry, parents. Second to last one, thank goodness we don't have any. Life is hard as hell. We would probably be homeless now if we had extra financial burden of children. Some of us don't end up rolling in piles of money. Some of us are just celebrating that we're not financially underwater as we would have been if we had kids in the picture. I literally do not understand how people afford to have kids nowadays. And last one, you won't get many replies as they're too busy rolling around in their piles of money with the time to enjoy such an activity. And the second comment says, in my quiet and clean house. Amen to the quiet and clean house. Or your quiet and clean hotel room.
They notice that one couple decided not to have children and are living their lives, which is respectable. But another single woman says she has the money but can't find a friend to spend time with. And this is where we see the point. Many women live traveling, taking photos here and there, but it's fun when all your friends are single. Immediately when one of them gets into a relationship, the other feels isolated because she has to travel alone, and everything starts to get boring at some point because, in the end, you're only talking to yourself. So if they're so happy, why do they mention on dating apps or during dates that they're not here for games and are looking for a serious relationship? Because time is ticking, brothers. Don't be fooled. Every day we bring videos of women who make it clear they don't want to be alone. Don't be deceived by the noise because the wall doesn't forgive. Just watch the next video.
So I'm struggling with something that you also might be struggling with. So I thought I would just share this with you guys. And I would love to hear in the comments if you are also having this problem too. In dating, it is such a dumpster fire. It is such a shit show that when you meet someone who seems like a nice, regular person, it is very hard to believe that this person is probably a nice, regular person. And it's also hard to believe that you can possibly give them the benefit of the doubt, or it's hard to give them the benefit of the doubt. So let me give you an example. I matched with someone. He seems super nice. He's relatively close to me. I'm going to say within 45 minutes of me. So he's geographically okay. We chatted better than I've chatted with someone in a very long time. They were not just little, how you doing kind of texts. They were real texts and messages back and forth. So I said, I really think we should meet in person. He said, I absolutely agree. This has been a great conversation. So we make plans for tonight, Wednesday. On Monday, we decide the time, and he told me to pick a place. So I said, are we still on Monday? I said, are we still on for Wednesday? He said, yes. Okay, great. So Tuesday, I said, okay, 6 o'clock still good for you. And I gave him a name of a place to meet me. And I said, just let me know if that still works. He does not reply on Tuesday, but I didn't send him the text till 9:30 at night. So this morning, I kind of was expecting a response. Didn't get a response. So now it's 1:30, have heard nothing from him. And it is taking me everything in my being to not think that I'm getting stood up or blown off. He did not unmatch me, so he's still on Bumble on one of my matches. And he just did not seem like the person that would do that. But let me tell you, I've had so many bad experiences that it's really hard for me to believe anyone. So anyway, I just wanted to know, does anyone else feel this way too? And what are your thoughts about this? Clearly, if I don't hear from this guy by I don't know, 3 o'clock, is that fair enough? Then I think we're not meeting at 6. And I'm certainly not going to get dressed and ready for a date only to be stood up. And he didn't confirm the place with me. So why is that so hard? Guys, if you're seeing this message, why is that so hard to just reply? He could decide that he doesn't want to go on a date with me, and that's okay. I'm a big girl. I can handle it. But just say, hey, tonight doesn't work for me anymore, or I've changed my mind. I guess even if he unmatched me, that would tell me that he does not want to hang out with me, but none of those things have happened. So we'll see. If I end up having a date tonight, I will give you an update to this little saga. Thanks for listening.
Let me tell you what happened, Chad. Another better opportunity came his way, and he decided to move on from you. Women find it hard to understand that men dismiss them silently, while they prefer to do it directly and painfully. Now, I want you to see a single woman without children trying to date a man, not claiming they are happier. She's seeking help to understand what she's doing wrong. This tells us that all those articles, all that nonsense that gets published about women being happier alone, isn't true because we only see thousands of women struggling to find a man. Look at the first girl in the video with the message. If you search for lonely girl, you'll see thousands of videos like this, women asking for some male attention because they're lonelier than the sun at noon. The wall doesn't forgive. Once you hit it, it's hard to recover. Big companies, thousands of channels, and feminists want to sell another side of the story, saying that these women are happy, that they don't need any man. But when they're alone, we see them failing in dating, asking to find a decent man. So who do we believe, an article or the hundreds of videos of women asking for help? The wall doesn't forgive.
In an effort to keep an open mind, someone asked me how to mumble. And you know what? I said, yes, I don't have my daughter tonight. He doesn't have his kids tonight. And I said, okay, fine. And this was without a zillion text messages, a zillion phone calls or FaceTime. Literally, I started chatting with him last night for a couple of times. He said, good morning this morning, and said, would you like to go on a date? And I said, well, tonight's the only night I don't have my kid. Are you free? And he said, I am. Let's meet. So we're meeting for a drink at 7. I'm taking this video prior to meeting him, and I'm going to connect back with you and finish up the video after the date. Wish me luck. All right, I'm back from my date. It was okay. I don't think it was a love connection in any way, shape, or form. It was fine. He was his height. He was cute. But, oh my God, he talked nonstop about his ex-wife, his kids, his divorce, his situation. His mom even lives with him. He's a little bit of a mess, like a hot, emotional mess. I can't do it. So this one's not going to work.
Judge the man's situation as imperfect while hers is perfect. You're a woman on the wall, yet you don't want an average man because even at 40, you believe you deserve a high-value man. Another thing, men, stop sharing your life stories with women you don't know. Look at how this woman degraded this man by disclosing what he confided in confidence. Stop doing that. If you need to talk, go to therapy or have a chat with a friend, even to the barber. But don't start sharing your personal matters, especially now when these women have no morals. They spill everything in a TikTok video. Another thing, focus on becoming a better version of yourself so you won't end up dating single mothers, especially on the wall. A man does the work. He won't struggle. Remember, it's better to be prepared for an opportunity than to have an opportunity come when you're not prepared. Women like this one, send them to the wall. We've reached the end of the video, but before we go, the questions are for you. What do you think of women who say they don't want to have children? Have you ever met a woman without children or a husband? How is her life going? If you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. Your support means the world to us and motivates us to create more content. Stay tuned for the next exciting video from the wall.